Hey everyone, it's Danielle at TallGirlDani. So if you'd like to see how I went from this to this, keep watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. So I got a lot of questions about how I get my stretched out afro and how I maintain it. So as you can see, I kind of just throw a headscarf on my head. I had been wearing my hair in a stretched out afro for several days, and now I'm going to refresh it. So what I'll be using is some water, some oil. I'm using argan oil. I'm using a cream, some butterfly clips, a wide tooth comb, paddle brush, and some stretchy hair bands. So the first thing I do is I separate my hair into two big sections, clipping one section out of the way. And then I separate one of those sections into two sections. So I don't spray the water directly onto my hair. I honestly usually do this when I'm getting ready in the morning. So I have the water from the faucet in the bathroom, and I feel like I'm better able to gauge how much water. I don't want to make my hair very wet, just a little wet to help loosen up the tangles and the knots. So if I am using a spray bottle, I prefer to spray it in my hand just because I get a better gauge of how much water I'm putting in my hair. So as I put the water in my hair, I gently finger detangle. So this video is time-lapsed, so I'm definitely moving at a really, really slow pace. One of the downsides about wearing my hair in a kinky fro is that I do get a lot of knots and tangles. So the next step is I apply my oil. Again, I'm using argan oil in this case, and I go ahead and I finger detangle some more. So before I put a comb or any brush to my hair, I really thoroughly finger detangle. Then I go for my wide tooth comb and gripping my hair very tightly, I start at the ends and gently work my way up to the roots. So once I've gotten most of the big knots out, then I'll go ahead with my paddle brush. Later in this video, I actually add the cream before I use the paddle brush, but the first section, I just went for the paddle brush. So I add the cream. I'm using the Mielle Organics Twisting Souffle, the pomegranate and honey line, just to add some moisture to my hair. Then I 2-strand twist that section and I clip it out of the way and move on to the next section. So I am only wetting the ends of my hair, and that's because the top of my hair is pretty much already detangled and already stretched out, and me adding water to the roots of my hair is just going to make it shrink more than I want. So this look is an elongated, stretched out afro, so that's why I'm focusing on the ends. That's also where most of the knots and tangles are. I also pull out any shed hair that I find. So because I'm not combing or detangling my hair daily, a lot of the shed hair doesn't actually fall out. So part of it is to actually just remove the hair that has shed that's kind of still trapped in my hair because it's kinky. So again, the next step after adding the water is to add some of the oil, and I am focusing mostly on the ends. For this particular style, I do use a lighter oil because the hair is going to be, touching my face, and I do have acne-prone skin, so argan oil is an oil that I actually use on my face also. So that's something to be mindful of when you're putting products and things in your hair if your hair is going to be on your face. So again, I start at the bottom and gently detangle with my wide tooth comb, going from the ends up to somewhat up to the roots, and really detangle. Adding a wide tooth comb for detangling is something that I kind of recently started doing because I find that I get a lot of fairy knots near the roots of my hair that for some reason my paddle brush misses. So then I add the cream and I work that through, and then I go through with my paddle brush and really detangle. So the key to me being able to wear my hair this way in a safe manner is really making sure that it is detangled for the most part. And once it's thoroughly detangled, I can wear it this way for a few days without worrying about combing it out. Yes, I'm just going through again with my wide tooth comb to make sure that I've gotten all of the knots out, and I haven't actually gotten all of the knots out, but I will go back and go in from the roots and finger detangle and make sure that I've gotten all the hair that are kind of clumped together and separate them out. So finger detangling does work well for me, especially when my hair is already somewhat detangled. So the last step is to band my hair. So I take a big stretchy hairband. If you don't have one big one, you can use several small ones. And I wrap the stretchy hairband down the length of my hair to keep it stretched. On the bottom, I loop it through because those ends really do like to shrivel up. And then I leave it there. So this side is done. And then I start on the next side. So the next side was really tangled, so I started off, I had to finger detangle before I was able to even separate it out. And as you can see, it's really knotted. It looks worse than it is, and that's because I know my hair. I kind of test the limits. But this is after detangling with the same process that I showed you on the other side. And again, I take the stretchy hairband and I stretch it down the length of my hair. I'm careful not to get too close to the roots because then it'll kind of pull the hairs at my crown. And again, the top of my hair is already pretty stretched out and detangled for the most part. So sometimes I do this in the morning before I get dressed. And because my hair isn't super wet, it won't take very, very long to dry, which is good. So I'll tie down the top part while I do my makeup or while I'm getting dressed, just to keep it even flatter. So this is a few minutes later, maybe 15 or 20 minutes later, that I'm taking my headscarf off, and now I'm ready to finish off the look. So I start by undoing the stretchy hairbands, and I'm going to do that for both sides. And as you can see, I even have a little bit of the markings from the stretchy hairbands in my hair. So I also wanted to show you how much hair I shed altogether. So that's the amount that came out altogether, which to me isn't bad for a dry detangle, and it also isn't bad given the fact that I have not combed my hair in several days. So then the last step is to comb out my hair more, to really comb out any of those waves that came from the stretchy hairbands, and just now that I'm putting my hair in one big afro, make sure that there are no knots, or the minimum amount of knots that I can manage, and to just fluff my hair out. So I really like wearing my hair this way because it's still kinky, but it's stretched out. And I add some more oil to the ends. And basically I'm done. So now I'm just throwing on my earrings. Making this video, I wasn't actually going anywhere. But I did it for the look of it. So this is what it looks like. When I'm making my videos, I don't get to see what the back looks like, but I knew that it probably needed some fluffing, so I do a lot of fluffing in the back. Before I go outside, I'll actually check with a mirror and make sure that the back is how I like it. And another option is to use a side part. So sometimes I'll switch it up. If I had been wearing a middle part, I'll do a side part. There's something about the side part that I just really like. So yeah, that's it. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.